working, but I'm just gonna do a quick live. My full review is edited and ready to go. But let's just do a quick live stream. This won't be a long one. This won't be a long one. But as I say, my full review. If you want my full thoughts on everything, Omega, the Doctor, etc., then stay tuned for that review. But I had not seen until a second ago. I had not seen any reaction from like the general internet. So what are your guys' thoughts? Because I logged onto Twitter for about 10 seconds and it is a war zone. It is scary out there. It's Twitter has become a war zone. But yeah, as I say, my full thoughts, my full review is coming later this evening. Make sure you've got the notification bell on so you don't miss it. But I thought while it's uploading, I may as well just go live to see the general public's opinion. I've seen a couple of people have logged off Twitter. It's going mad. What's the general consensus, everyone? There's a lot of varying opinions. There's so good, it was so bad. Still waiting for reality to change. That was a whole mess of an episode. I don't want to give away too much of my thoughts in this live stream because that's what the review's for. But I will say, yeah, it's a bizarre episode. Omega as well. I'll save my thoughts on Omega for the review because I know people will be interested in that. But yeah, people are pointing out she wasn't credited as the Doctor. Let's just have a look on BBC iPlayer, right? As I say, this won't be a massively long live stream, but I mean, it's insane. Like, I genuinely can't quite believe. Everyone in my cinema was completely bewildered as well. And shout out to the couple of people who recognise me. Shout out, guys. Right, Doctor Who. I haven't. Has anybody watched Unleashed yet? Do they acknowledge? This is what I'm really intrigued at. Do they acknowledge that that the ending was rewritten and refilmed? Do they acknowledge that in Unleashed? Because I feel like they've almost got to, but I don't know whether they're trying to keep that hush. Have they? I'm watching the regeneration scene again on my computer. It's mad. That's mad. Like this is genuinely crazy. Like I can't quite believe. We've got a super chat here. We've got two super chats. Sorry guys, the chat is moving really quickly. Let me try and find them. We've got Rory, thank you very much for the super chat. P.S. Did you see my voice note? Sorry, Rory, I haven't seen your voice note yet. It was so funny. I've got footage in the car because when we were driving back from the cinema, my phone was lit. It seemed like it was going to explode. Just everyone from everywhere, messages. I'm seeing so much mixed opinion as well. Jerf, thank you very much for the super chat. Jerf says, plot, Omega appears, Doctor backs into a gun, Doctor shoots Omega with gun, problem solved, what a pushover. I know, it is kind of crazy, but I think I am going to have a controversial take on this episode. As I say, my review is coming out later, so I will be fascinated to see what people think of that. But thank you very much, Jerf, and thank you, Rory, for the super chat. If anybody else wants to super chat, it would be really appreciated. This isn't going to be a long live stream, so I'm not going to be able to answer everybody's comments. I will 100% read and see your comment if you super chat, because it flashes up on my screen. But yeah, it's crazy. So I did ask the question, but I haven't been able to see answers because the chat's moving quickly. Did they acknowledge that this was a rewrite in Unleashed or any of the behind the scenes? Does anybody know if they did that? Because I feel like they've almost got to. Like the pacing, Jake Pierce says no. Apparently not. No, they did not, says Lee Taylor. Nope. That's mad. I want to know the real behind the scenes. Because I can't lie. As I say, wait till my review to get my full thoughts. But I think the cards Russell was dealt, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it. I think, yeah, it needs. Yeah, I'll be intrigued. I want to see it because there is definitely rewrites. There's got to have been rewrites. You know what I mean? It's sort of impossible. Apparently, Unleashed was boring. Did people not enjoy Unleashed? I need to watch Unleashed at some point. But iPlay has gone on to Superman and Lois. Right, hang on. Let's go back. Apparently, Billie Piper was not credited as the Doctor, which is kind of mad. Right, we've got a couple of super chats coming in here. Thank you, Chin Lloyd, for the super chat. Much appreciated. I don't know why my computer's not allowing me to like it. Hang on, let me refresh the page. I will read your super chats. Thank you, everybody, very much. Let me just find it. Where's it gone? Chin Lloyd. Chin Lloyd says, Ep on a whole felt a bit rushed. Just so confused with the Billy casting. I like it, but still bold. They didn't even mention it in the confidential. Did they not? Have they not mentioned the Billie Piper regeneration in the confidential? Surely they have. Mad. Unless I've misinterpreted what you're saying. I could have done that easily. Thank you as well to the Ultimate Candle. So shout out to Chin Lloyd for the super chat. Thank you very much to the Ultimate Candle as well for another super chat, who says, episode was fairly disappointing, but crazy reveal. I do think this seems to be the general consensus. I think a lot of people aren't big fans of the episode. Dexter says it felt like an AI-generated script. Thank you very much to Chazo Boy for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Chazo Boy says, Billie Piper isn't 16. There's a reason the TARDIS was showing 15 his old faces, and a reason we saw a random shot of the console as he was regenerating. Something went wibbly with the regeneration. Yeah, true. I mean, this is fascinating. Has it not been stated specifically that Piper is the next Doctor? Maybe she's not, but surely, I don't know. What route can you take this? Is it too much reliance on the Shooty Gatwa era? Do they know where they're going? Have they just sort of gone, maybe we won't get recommissioned, here we go, we started with Billie Piper, end with Billie Piper. And yeah, Mrs. Flood is still at large, that is very true. Yeah, no, she isn't specifically credited as the Doctor. Let's have a look. Introducing this Jodie Whittaker coming back as well. Crazy. And introducing Billie Piper. It says and introducing, not as the Doctor. That's intriguing. That is incredibly intriguing. Why is that, I wonder? Kieran Hennigan, thank you very much for the super chat. Kieran Hennigan says, Disney commented on Piper's post, gonna stick with I. So probably gonna stick with it. She's got to be. You wouldn't have that scene if she wasn't the Doctor. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be. Alan Wilkinson, thank you very much for the super chat. Alan Wilkinson says, has Omega heard of You Are What You Eat? I mean, I will say, all of you out there who've watched Doctor Who Echoes End, is that not the Omega design from Doctor Who Echoes End and Doctor Who Echoes Destiny? Look in the trailer for Echoes Destiny. I literally redesigned Omega as a big skull with like a mask on his face kind of thing. I think Russell must have watched it, right? You know, no, I mean he probably didn't, but yeah. My take on the Omega thing is gonna just hold off till my review later tonight for that, because it's gonna be an interesting one. But Jimmy Rigg, thank you very much, Jimmy Rigg, for the super chat, who says Confidential didn't even mention any successor. That's crazy. I wonder how recent this edition is, because obviously, apparently there was like these leaks and stuff, and we discussed it. I thought there was absolutely no way that the Billie Piper rumours could be true. Like, I completely and utterly did not believe them at all. But what on earth? Thank you very much, Dylan Walton, for the super chat. Dylan Walton says, it feels rushed and weird. What's happening? And then a sort of sad but not sad face, like a middling face, like a face. Thank you very much, Dylan, for the super chat. And yeah, I get what you mean. It was bizarre. That's the episode to describe. No, the word to describe this episode is utterly bizarre. Yeah, you're gonna have to watch my review to get a more coherent thought process. But it's mad, isn't it? It's mad. And I mean, as ever, guys, if you want your review of the episode or any chats read out, please feel free to super chat. You don't have to, though. I'll read them out. I'll read out people's reviews. I'm kind of fascinated by this because, as I said, I went on Twitter briefly, and it is a war zone. It is an absolute war zone. Thank you very much to Chazo Boy for another super chat, who says, it's an honour to welcome her back, but quite how and why and who is a story yet to be told. RTD on Billie Piper. We're definitely going to make a video on this tomorrow. As I say, review coming out tonight, but tomorrow I will 100% be making a full breakdown of what on earth is going on with the 16th Doctor and Billie Piper, because it's fascinating. Like, genuinely, the show hasn't left me this speechless in a very long time. Thank you very much to Joshua Selig, sorry, I can't read. Thank you very much, Joshua Selig, for the super chat. Joshua Selig says, I get a feeling that the Doctor is mid-regeneration. Also, is the fob that 153 left in the console, could it... Oh, that 15, sorry, that 15 left in the console. Could it have interfered? It could have. People are right. You guys are 100% bang on the money here. Something has got to have happened. Something wrong, something bizarre with the Doctor's regeneration to cause that face to show up. I mean, it's crazy. It's actually crazy. Right, I'm just triple checking I haven't missed any super chats. I'm going to scroll to the latest one. Chin Lloyd, thank you very much for another super chat. He says, maybe she's a bad wolf doctor. No Susan either. I mean, my initial thoughts, that's a nice theory there, though, like the bad wolf thing tie-in. Rose got all those powers. She opened up the heart of the TARDIS back in Parting of the Ways. Is it Parting of the Ways? Yeah, it's Parting of the Ways, where she opens the TARDIS, gets it all in her head. Maybe because, like, the Doctor used the heart of the TARDIS again, that happened. Is anyone able to explain as well why Jodie Whittaker showed up? Like, it was fun, it was cool, but what happened? I don't quite understand the logic of that, but we're going to catch up with the super chat. Sorry, guys. 999SIAN, 999CN says, 10, 14, 16, Doctor crossover, Rose as the companion. Imagine Rose as the companion to the Billie Piper Doctor. That would be crazy. This is just... It's blown my mind. Like, I don't know what to think. I really need to rewatch the episode. I need to watch Unleashed. I'm genuinely baffled. Rob Deltoni, thank you very much for the super chat. Rob Deltoni says, I hope they add the alt ending on the Blu-ray. Yeah, stay tuned as well on this channel, because I'm going to do a video breaking down the alternate ending that we didn't get, the original ending filmed with no regeneration. We've literally... It makes me wonder, was it a deliberate leak from Disney? But they've put in that image of the Doctor and Belinda, like, dancing Happy May Day at the end. Where did that come from? Where did that, like, what was the original ending? How was it so different? It's genuinely crazy. Anyway, thank you very much to Clive Bell for the £10 super chat. Shout out to Clive Bell. Clive Bell says, better than last year, loved a lot about it, but quite a lot of meh too. Never really like Billy. Wished I hadn't watched the leak videos, would have been less disappointed. Glad Mrs. Flood got away. Yeah, I can't lie. Like, obviously, this is probably going to sound ironic, but I'm so annoyed I had that leaked. Because I promise, like, go back and look at my live streams. I completely and utterly didn't believe the Billie Piper thing. It was just bonkers. There was no way that was true. So I held off on it for that big live stream because I thought it was going to be publicly announced. That's what I was told. And then when it wasn't publicly announced at the BAFTAs, I was like, okay, there's absolutely no way Billie Piper's playing the next Doctor. Then lo and behold, it's happened. And I can't... She's such a good actress. I am torn on it, though. You'll have to... My review goes into more depth, but it's crazy. It's crazy. Right, let's catch up with... some of the super chats. If I have missed a super chat, please spam, because I don't want to have missed any. I don't think I have, but it is a difficult chat to keep up with because there's 1,501 people currently watching. Shout out to all of you. Thank you very much. President Lemon says, I think this was a way to prevent cancellation and leave the door open. Also, shout out to my brother, Nick Hertz. Yep, shout out to Nick Hertz. Thank you very much, President Lemon. Oh no. Thank you very much to President Lemon for the super chat. I think this is a way to prevent cancellation, leave the door open. Yeah, maybe though. Or is it a bookend? It could equally be a bookend. Do you see what I mean? Because New Who, Russell brought back New Who, right? He brought it back with Rose as the first shot. Is he ending it with Rose as the first shot? Is that why there's no proper confirmations? Probably not. Crazy. But yeah, we'll move on to... I'm trying to find the next... Christian, thank you very much, Christian Unpronounced, for a super chat. Christian says, Rose is the TARDIS, and the Doctor was thrown back into their original universe. The TARDIS has to find the Doctor, is that? So, Rose is the TARDIS, the Doctor was thrown into their original universe. I suppose, yeah, I mean, reality is still somewhat implied, I'm thinking it's implied to be broken, kind of. Like, they say a couple of things slip through. Poppy didn't slip through, but Conrad slipped through with his new wish. Maybe. Yeah, who's the boss as well? That's a big question. Puff Pride, thank you very much, Puff Pride, for the super chat. Puff Pride says, it looked like Bad Wolf / the Heart of the TARDIS energy, not regeneration energy when he was regenerating. That's true. What are people's theories? Why do we think Billie Piper is, or at least the regeneration seemed to be into Billie Piper? Like, it's crazy. I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what to make of it. Apparently, yeah, Unleashed doesn't give us much of anything. Omega was done bad, says Steve Andrews. Thank you, everybody, for all the super chats. I'm going to keep reading them. Bogdan Vukovic, hopefully I pronounced that right, but thank you very much to Bogdan for the super chat. Bogdan says, bro, you are a legend. Greetings from Siberia. Greetings from the United Kingdom. Thank you very much. I'm glad. It means a lot. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. The Ultimate Candle has super chatted. The Ultimate Candle says, just my opinion, but I'm not a fan of Russell T Davies era 2. I think, with good explanation, Billy can be an excellent Doctor, but a new writing team would feel better. I'm so 50-50 on it. It's just crazy. Like, it's insane. And I don't know what to think. So many people. I enjoyed watching it, I think. As I say, my review will go into more depth, but genuinely mad. Anyway, thank you to the Ultimate Candle for the super chat. We have a super chat here from N7 Gamer 2023. Shout out to N7 Gamer 2023, who says 14 needs to meet 16. They will have self-love. I mean, yeah, is it not a bit egotistical of the Doctor to take the face of his former lover? It's quite a funny plot. It's crazy. It's crazy. I genuinely can't wrap my head around what we've witnessed tonight. Like 13 showing up as well. 13 just up. Like Jodie's just like, hi guys, I'm here. I love the dialogue though. As many faults as people are going to give, I thought the dialogue kind of popped off this episode. Right, we'll catch up with super chats. I need to make sure I haven't missed any. Thank you everyone who's super chatting, by the way. Thank you everyone who's in the live stream, everyone who's commenting. You're massively helping out here. Yeah. Oh my god, there's so many opinions. It's mad. It's mad. I'm trying to read as much as possible. Christian, thank you for another super chat, who says, what if the boss is the Black Guardian? I certainly think we could see another, like, Black Guardian or the Trickster kind of thing happening. Something like that has got to crop up again. I mean, it's just crazy, isn't it? It's absolutely crazy. The Black Guardian coming back, though, I'd be here for. I mean, I made a theory video on it earlier this season. Yeah, it was this season. I didn't pan out, though. But Mrs. Flood is still at large. That's the thing. Mrs. Flood's still rocking about. Maybe she'll make a deal with the Black Guardian. Slander and Lies, thank you very much to Slander and Lies for the super chat. Slander and Lies says, I loved the Anita / Time Hotel stuff. It was so good, wasn't it? Like, Artie, you all know Artie from the podcast. Some of you may know him. But we went to see this episode as a group. And Artie missed the first 5 minutes because he was just out buying popcorn. Like, I do think last year they put a timer on counting down to when the episode aired. But yeah, Artie missed the initial Time Hotel stuff, which was kind of mad. But I loved it. I thought it was really good. I loved it. It was a nice, bringing back all the shooty characters, do you know what I mean, from his era, putting them into the thing. Grant Fraser, thank you very much to Grant Fraser for the £5 super chat. Grant says, Billy has to be the Watcher, Bad Wolf Watcher, carrying the Doctor back to the fugitive. That's a really cool theory, I can't lie. I hadn't heard anyone say that, but I like that idea, especially if Joe Martin deserves another go. Do you know what I mean? Let Joe Martin have more in the series. But yeah, tying Billy into the Watcher would be very cool. Hopefully, something along those lines. Bad Wolf. It's got to tie into Bad Wolf. Do you know what I mean? The production company is called Bad Wolf. It's named after that. It's insane, isn't it? Shout out to the Lily Grace Life. Thank you very much to the Lily Grace Life for the super chat, who says, where was Omega? Also, Piper could be because they... I'm not going to swear on live stream. Something with the console equals Bad Wolf. Also, she may not be the Doctor due to the credits. That is true. It could be Rose. This could be a return of Rose rather than a return of the 16th Doctor. As pointed out by the live chat and Lily Grace Life, we get a shot of the TARDIS console mid-regeneration, which is kind of like, why is that happening? Is it because Rose opened the TARDIS in Parting of the Ways, energy came out. Maybe it wasn't regeneration energy. It was actually just like the heart of the TARDIS kind of energy. That kind of stuff. Shout out to Digital Limbic System for the super chat. Thank you very much to Digital Limbic System, who says, "I'm so mad. Not about Billy. I could care less. But the episode itself was god awful. Complete waste of the Rani and Omega, and no Susan. Absolutely awful," says Digital Limbic System. Yeah, it's certainly a divisive one. As I say, I logged onto Twitter briefly and immediately logged out because it's a war zone. People are fighting. I don't think Thary's liked it either. Even though he's in it, it's his cinema debut. I will say, I won't spoil my entire thoughts, wait for my review later this evening, but I enjoyed it more than Empire of Death. I'll say that right away. And a lot of you know my thoughts on Empire of Death. But yeah, the Omega inclusion is wild, isn't it? Shout out to Peak_Flow, Peak Flow for the super chat. Thank you very much. Peak Flow says, Billie Piper said, "I couldn't refuse, but who, how, why, and when, you'll just have to wait and see." This is fascinating. Maybe she isn't the Doctor after all of this. Maybe she's not. I mean, the fact that she's not credited as the Doctor in the credits, and the fact that her and Russell are seemingly giving these cryptic teasers, the show better not get cancelled. It better not get cancelled. BBC, do you hear me? We need more answers. We need answers. Disney might pick it up. I don't know. Someone's got to pick it up. This can't be the end. Right, I am going to catch up with Super Chat. Sorry, guys. I will come to everyone's Super Chat. Jeffrey Aldred says, "Okay, I thought bi-generation was to be explained. Did RTD lie?" I think, Jeffrey, it's very briefly explained. It's not really an explanation. When I heard it, I slightly sighed because I was like, oh, that's a Russell explanation. But I think they say, the Doctor says it's like a product of, because all Time Lords were made infertile by whatever big boom thing happened with the Master, bi-generation is like a natural instinct of a Time Lord to separate, to create more of them, to repopulate. I think that's what's implied. But Jeffrey, you are right. It wasn't properly stated. There was a lot of exposition in the episode, but that wasn't one of them. Shout out to Rocky O for the super chat. Thank you very much, Rocky O. Rocky O says, "Shooty's only half the Doctor. Tennant to reveal new." Maybe, I don't know, but I was going to say I don't think they'll tie back Tennant, but Rose, Billie Piper's the Doctor. Tennant's probably going to crop up again. It's crazy scenes. Crazy. Who knew about it? Do you know what I mean? Like, this is mad. Anyway, shout out to Philippe Langley. I think, yeah, I hope that's how you pronounce it. Philippe Langley, thank you very much for the super chat. Philippe says, "I wanted Catherine Tate so the Doctor can finally be a ginger, lol." Yeah, the Doctor's got to be a ginger one day. And I mean, if you're going to bring back a former companion, Donna's ginger, there you go. Donna Noble as the 17th Doctor, perhaps, that would be quite fun. I mean, it would be crazy. Why don't we just cycle through all the companions? I can't lie, Billie Piper and Jenna Coleman would be my two frontrunners if we had to have a companion as the Doctor. Those two are just iconic. Do you know what I mean? Those are the front runners. They both deserve the role. Shout out to Flossie Cat. Thank you very much, Flossie Cat, for the super chat, who says, "Omega getting defeated by a single laser beam was ridiculous." Love your channel, by the way. Thank you very much. I'm glad you love the channel. And yeah, I mean, as I say, I'll discuss it more in my review, but the Omega inclusion, it wasn't Omega. Okay, it was the idea of Omega. That's at least what I'm telling myself to cope. Shout out to Malcolm Green. Thank you very much, Malcolm Green, for the super chat, who says, "The writing of this episode needed more Moffat, in my opinion." We know Moffat looked at the script, to be fair, which is probably because Joy's in it, Anita's in it. See, it did tie up the 15th Doctor's era quite well, as many complaints as people have. It was quite cohesive in that sense, and I think it was very true from an emotional perspective. Like, from an emotive perspective, the episode hit quite well. Seeing people say, no, they didn't. Maybe not. Thank you very much to Davey Fern for the super chat. Davey Fern, shout out. Really appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat, Davey Fern. You haven't put a message, but appreciate the support. Thank you very much. Dan BYT Official, shout out to Dan BYT Official, who says, "Still in shock. What an episode. I DM you after 2. As I say, sorry to anyone who's DM'd me. I've literally, like, as I say, when I left the cinema, my phone seemed like it was going to explode. It was message. But I appreciate everybody who has messaged me. I'll try and get back to you all. It may take time, but yeah, no, it's crazy, isn't it, Dan? It's absolutely crazy. I'm still in shock. It's been hours now. It's been hours, but I'm still shocked. Alan Wilkinson, thank you for the £2 super chat. Alan Wilkinson, who says, "Meep the boss, Black Guardian, Anita's the boss, White Guardian." Ooh, ooh. Could we see it? I like that we're running with this theme. Like, Alan, you're on to something. Everybody is suggesting Black and White Guardians. Maybe they're the boss. Maybe they're going to come back. It would be cool. We've got to see the meeps, like the payoff to that as well. Because Rogue, Meep, and is it Anita? Yeah, they've all mentioned having this boss. But I wonder, maybe the boss isn't evil because Anita and Rogue are both good characters who have this boss as well. So would they be working for an evil boss? Maybe, maybe not. Shout out to Arrow, for the super chat, who says, "Belinda was so wasted and no Susan." Yeah, the lack of a Susan inclusion was kind of wild and unexpected, I can't lie. Like, how did you not have Susan there? What happened to Susan? But I'll explore that in my video coming very soon about the original ending to this episode, because as we know, the latter half of the episode was reshoots, reshot because of Shooty's departure, premature departure, I believe. I think they're trying to hide that though. But yeah, we do have a backlog of super chats, so everybody who's super chatted, really appreciate it. I'm getting through all of them. I'm not going to miss anyone out. Rob Deltoni, thank you very much for the super chat, who says, "A Reddit theory I've adopted. The boss is Susan. Potentially. Maybe she's not evil. Maybe she isn't evil, and that's why she's the boss of Rogue. That's why she's the boss of whoever. Susan could be having her own little thing. That's a nice theory there." Pete2097, thank you very much for the super chat, who says, "Could it be the end of Bi-Generation?" Probably. I think they've taken that concept as far as they can take it. They're probably not going to keep doing it. But yeah, maybe this is the end of Bi-Generation. Thank you to Pete2097. I think I'm just going to scroll back to make sure I haven't missed super chats. I know there's a backlog there. The chat's moving so quickly. I want to make sure everyone's super chat gets read. Shout out to Rio Paynardo. Shout out to Rio Paynardo. Thank you very much for the super chat. Rio Paynardo says, "Did you see that Shooty completely vanished before Billie appeared? Like a teleportation, etc." Ooh, I didn't notice that. But you're right, thinking about it. Maybe that was because of the effect they shot Shooty's regeneration before getting in another doctor. So that all happened. But yeah, maybe. I mean, I suppose Shooty talks quite definitively about leaving, so it's probably not Shooty coming back. But yeah, the fact that Billie Piper's not credited, there's definitely something going on with her as the Doctor. Interesting stuff. But thank you very much for the super chat. Shout out to Prez or Prez or Pres for the super chat, who says, "Maybe she's a placeholder for when they decide." Maybe. I mean, someone suggested a minute ago it could be Bi-Generation. There could be the Rose Doctor and another Doctor generated from all this. There's definitely something going weird with time. It will be intriguing to see, but yeah, thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Jellybean, who's also donated a super chat, who says, "Love your channel." Thank you very much, Jellybean. They say, "The boss is interesting because it sounds like a Time Lord name, and they are apparently connected to the Time Hotel somehow." That's true. I mean, they're connected to Rogue, they're connected to Anita at the Time Hotel, and they're connected to the Meep. What do all of those have in common? Does anybody have any theories on that? What do the Rogue, the Meep, and Anita have in common? Something to do with the Time Lord, Time Hotel, and as Jellybean points out, the boss sounds like a Time Lord sort of name, doesn't it? Sounds like a Time Lord sort of name. Thank you very much to Chazo Boy for another super chat, who says, "Reality is very much still broken." Very true, very true. It's got to pay off. I mean, this is the thing. I think people were kind of expecting the new era to the next Doctor. If Shooty were to regenerate, which we have seen him do now, Shooty's gone. I think people were expecting a new, fresh start, which I don't think we're getting, because obviously, yeah, there's still a lot of plot elements, Susan, the boss, all of this, which need to come back. But shout out to Logan O'Hara for the £10 super chat. Thank you very much to Logan O'Hara, who says, "I loved the episode a lot." See, it's nice to have some positivity. There's been a lot of negativity, but Logan's coming in with a positive review. "I loved the episode a lot. People are way too critical. Just compare it to EOD and can't Really complain. Empire of Death, 100%. Logan, I agree. Empire of Death was far worse than this episode. People remember there will always be continuity issues in a show 60 years old holds the record. Yeah, true. There will be continuity issues. I do understand some of the criticisms, but as I say, we'll break it down more. If you want my full thoughts, stay tuned for my review soon. Let me check. It's 70% uploaded. 70% uploaded. Shout out to Rocky O, who says Ruby, Snow, Belinda, Boom. Yeah. Oh, I don't think we're ever going to find out the snow. I don't think we'll ever know. I don't think we will ever find out why Ruby could make it snow. I think we'll just be left with the sort of half explanation from Space Babies of, I don't know, Ruby and Magic Snow. Once he sees, like, it's open, time was so open and raw or something. Anyway, shout out to Hippie Days 35. Thank you very much for the super chat, Hippie Days 35, who says, and am I wrong? Did the Doctor initially erase Poppy? He said only a timeline could have made time be off like that. And there he was beforehand at the TARDIS console. Did I mismatch? Yeah, I don't think he did it deliberately. I think it was a consequence of the universe coming back to normal, because there's that really nice moment from Ruby where she says, like, Conrad got his wish, but this wish didn't come through. The universe repairing itself is all interesting. But yeah, thank you very much to Hippie Days 35 for the super chat. The chat keeps jumping. It's so annoying. I will come to everybody's super chats. Do not fear. Thank you to Word Nerd for the super chat. Shout out to Word Nerd, who says Susan Foreman, of the name for a boss. Could see Anita working with Susan as the boss, but the Mad Meep. I suppose Susan Foreman, yeah, you've got sort of boss-tie connection there. It very well could be. I don't know why Susan would be working with the Meep, though, because I feel like Susan would be good, unless maybe she's I don't know. Russell Wright said, like, Russell can write anything at this point. Like, there is no guessing where the show will go. But yeah, thank you very much to Word Nerd for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Michael S. Harvey, thank you very much for the super chat. Michael S. Harvey says, Doctor Who is desperately seeking Susan. I do find it weird that 15 hasn't really mentioned Susan to anyone, unless she is just in his head or something. But surely she's got a bigger role to play than that. Do you know what I mean? Like, that can't be the end for Susan. I at least hope not. Like, it certainly shouldn't be. But we'll just have to wait and see where all of that plot thread goes. Shout out to Thomas Blount for a super chat. Thank you very much, Thomas Blount, who says, WTF did happen. I dropped my popcorn when I see 13. I know, Thomas, it was crazy. When 13 showed up, like, mind blown. The cinema, there was an audible gasp. I will say, compared to the Empire of Death cinema experience last year, people were gasping, people were shocked, the people were really engaged. And as I said, a shout out to the people who recognised me. You were lovely. But yeah, it's crazy. Crazy scenes. Old Web Shooter, thank you very much to Old Web Shooter for a super chat. Old Web Shooter says, do you think the original ending was that Time Poppy was going to be taken by Susan? That leaked photo didn't look like a woman tied down with a baby. True, wasn't there like a leaked picture that looked like a sort of Shobogan Tecteun-esque explorer from the original ending? As I say, a video on this original ending is going to be coming soon. I'm going to just add that to my notes, because you make a good point. I'll address this in tomorrow's video. What am I saying? Leaked photo, ending. It's weird, isn't it? It's crazy stuff. Anyway, let's catch up with some more super chats. PJ Hannafin, thank you very much for the super chat, PJ Hannafin, who says, was Captain Poppy explained? How was she in Space Babies and be Belinda's daughter? They kind of, it's one of those Russell T Davies half explanations where they're like, the image of Poppy was merged with the Doctor and Belinda's ideas, which somewhat creates Poppy in a way. It doesn't quite make sense, but if you rewatch the episode, there's at least an attempt at an explanation. Shout out to Yugi Joe. Nice name. Yugi Joe says, how is Susan still the Doctor's granddaughter? I thought, as of New Who, her parent is someone that the Doctor hasn't met yet, but infertility. Yeah, I think I think canonically, well, not in the expanded universe, the Doctor marries a woman called Patience, has the child, who then has a child, which is Susan. I don't think Susan's from the future. I think the lines in Empire of Death were a little bit confusing, but yeah, I reckon the Time Lords are infertile now. That might be undone by the end of the new era. There's so much building and stuff, and we don't even know if there's another season. It's crazy. Shout out to Slander and Lies for the £5 super chat. Thank you, Slander and Lies, who says, I think the boss is the boss of Villain Guard, and potentially the War Chief or the Minister of War. Could be. Villain Guard has popped up and played their little part quite a few times in this season. Well, this era, sorry. You've had Boom, you've had Joy to the World, very Moffat-centered episodes. But yeah, maybe they're tying into it. K Goldwing, thank you very much, K Goldwing, for the super chat, who says, during Regeneration, the light lit up the TARDIS console and they focused in on that. It reminds me of Bad Wolf. I wonder if it's relevant. I suppose, yeah, K Goldwing, you are right. The lighting was very reminiscent of Parting of the Ways of Bad Wolf. Certainly there could be something there. I mean, it's blown my mind how much has happened. Like, there's so much to take in. It's genuinely kind of crazy. But yeah, as I say, my full review will be out tonight. I am gonna read all these super chats. There's a load. I'm gonna go through them. Sorry guys, I'll stop waffling. Right, Rio Peinado, thank you very much for another super chat. Who says the crack in the wall, reality leaking, connected? They very well could be. Russell loves tying things into various different Who things. I mean, did they flash back to, I think, was it Day of the Daleks from the Pertwee era? They flashed back to the season 6 finale as well. Like a load of different things when Anita was going through those time doors. So I wouldn't be surprised, Rio, if the crack in the wall does come back in some capacity. Davin O'Keefe, shout out to Davin O'Keefe. Thank you very much, Davin, for a super chat, who says, I was not ready to lose 15. Heartbroken. So excited for Billy, though. I cried seeing 13 back too. Where do you rank 15 in your favourite Doctors? Now, Davin, this is an excellent question. It was emotional seeing 13 again. That was lovely. Ranking 15 is difficult. I feel like he's really hit his stride this season. I loved his Doctor so much this season. He's definitely, if you've seen my Doctor rankings video from like 2 months ago, he's definitely shot up a couple of places since then. I just think it's such a shame he didn't get more time. He needs more time. Do you know what I mean? I want to see more from him. He's so good. Shooty, you're brilliant. Don't go. But at the same time, I'm intrigued. Not Jodie Whittaker, sorry. Billie Piper. You're a good actress. Let's see where we go. Shadow Jedi Knight. Shout out to Shadow Jedi Knight for the super chat, who says, when people say The Timeless Children was a better episode than this, and I'm like, The Timeless Children wasn't a terrible episode, but I was hyped for the 13th Doctor. Yeah. Finales are always controversial, aren't they? Like, Shadow Jedi Knight, you're bringing in a fair point here. The Timeless Children caused so much hubbub on the internet. It would be lovely for Doctor Who not to be controversial again. But it's not going to happen. I think the problem is the fan base. You've got new fans, old fans, new fans, newer fans. You've got fans everywhere, expanded universe fans. So nothing will please everyone. But yeah, they're certainly taking big strides and crazy things with this season. Shout out to Logan O'Hara. Thank you very much, Logan, for another super chat, who says, they gave 13 good character development and no retcon needed. I know, Logan, it was great. 13's inclusion was genuinely written brilliantly. And I hadn't realised, like I say this in my review, which is coming out later, but I hadn't realised how much I missed the 13th Doctor on screen. Like, when she came back, I was like, oh my god, I've been waiting for this. Jodie, you're great. Like, I was so happy to see her. Right, Mini Zod, thank you very much to Mini Zod for the super chat, who says, what if Bi-Gen is like bacteria, and after 14, he became a child of the Doctor? Explains the Rani's previous regen surviving, but would ruin Shooty's run. Yeah, it's a nice theory, and I could see Russell doing something similar, something along those lines. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, I could see something like that happening. Shout out to Harper of Harps for the $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Harper of Harps. Harper of Harps says, felt like the second half of Wishworld, followed by a half-an-hour epilogue, Wishworld and reality. Felt like one episode with a long pro/epilogue. Yeah, it was bizarre. The ending, I mean, this is what I mean by you can tell it was reshot. You can tell there were reshoots. You can tell all of that because the ending, the pacing was bizarre. They wrapped up Omega way quicker than expected. But Yeah, I agree, Harper of Harps. It felt like a prolonged epilogue at the end. Shout out to Sir Bread the First. Thank you very much for the super chat. Who said that ending, fire, fire, fire. Yeah, I mean, certain people have punched the air with joy. Certain people have loved it. Certain people have hated it. It's certainly going to be very, very controversial. Shout out to Jessica for the super chat. Thank you very much, Jessica. Jessica says, surprise 15 return after Billy. Your girl can hope. Potentially, Jessica. I could see. I mean, the only thing that's stopping me thinking that is I've seen the first like 2 minutes of Unleashed, in which Shooty seems to be very definitive that this is his end as the Doctor. But they could be opening up more time for Shooty to come back in future. We'll just have to wait and see. It's fascinating the direction they're taking. Shout out to Dirtnap Films for the super chat, who says the word trick was used a lot. Hashtag bring back the trickster. 100% Dirtnap Films. Thank you for the super chat. I agree. Trickster needs to come back. Hashtag bring back the trickster. Get it trending. Get it to Russell. We've got to have him back. I mean, he's mentioned. He's the god of tricks, isn't he? He's like the god of traps or tricks and whatnot. Like, we need to see more of the trickster. Shout out to Shadow Jedi Knight again for another super chat. Thank you very much, Shadow Jedi Knight, who says, but the ending of the episode was so emotional because I didn't want Ncuti Gatwa to go on 2 seasons and 3 special episodes, but I was shocked of Billie Piper being the new Doctor. Yeah, it was crazy. The ending, that's the only way I can describe it. It's crazy. Ncuti gone way too early, in my opinion. And it doesn't even feel like Christopher Eccleston's early departure, where it's still nice. Like, I feel like sad. Like, obviously I was sad when Eccleston left, but I don't know, it's bizarre. He needs more time. Shout out to Logan O'Hara for another super chat, who says Ncuti is the only Doctor with no Daleks. 14 don't count. I suppose, well, 14 technically faced the Daleks in that mini episode. I know the 8th Doctor's faced them in audio adventures, but yeah, Ncuti is kind of the only Doctor to have not faced the Daleks, which is a shame, in my opinion. It's a big shame. I hope we get more from Ncuti. I don't know how we can, but it's Erland. It's Erland says, thank you very much, it's Erland for the super chat. They say, just finished the episode. Billie Piper? I was confused the whole episode. I don't often watch Doctor Who, but this iteration has been fun to follow. That's cool. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for the super chat. And yeah, it's nice to hear perspectives from people that aren't die-hard fans, because the die-hard fandom, as I say, Twitter's melting down. Twitter's gone on a mad one. But it's nice to hear another perspective. Thanks for the super chat. Dustin Denton, thank you very much for the super chat, who says, Dustin Denton says, does it feel like 3 or 4 movies compressed to snapshots? I suppose, are you talking about the latest episode felt like movies compressed? I do think the pacing was bizarre. It was like bam, 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 and then slow. The ending was slow, but the rest of it was bam, 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 bam pacing. Like, it was crazy. It was mad. It was popping off. And there's so much cool stuff here. Shout out to Tom for the super chat. Thank you very much, Tom, who says, feels like Russell was stuck after Ncuti wanted to leave and asked his friend Billy to save the day. Also, Regeneration music was great. The Regeneration music was great, and there's definitely, I want to know more behind the scenes stuff on this. Like, what more happened? Shout out to Puthkins for the £5 super chat. Thank you very much, Puthkins, who says, why are you still here when you said it would be short? Get the review up instead. I'm waiting for it to upload. It's on 92%. It's almost with you guys. Don't you worry. I'm just doing this for another couple of minutes. So everybody who's super chatting, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. But slow down, because I want to make sure I can read them all. I will try and read everything though. Luke, thank you very much, Luke, for the £9.99 super chat. Really appreciate it. Luke says, when the glass broke, when 15 hit the console, and I thought that was a final fourth wall break as the reality shifted and collided, and Ncuti went through to a false reality and not ours. Potentially. There's definitely theories to be made on this, Luke. 100%. Stay tuned on the channel. Loads of theories. We could do another parallel universe theory like we did back with the Jodie Whittaker era. Who knows? Shout out to Bill Billy for a super chat, who says, finale was pretty mid. Omega and the Rani were wasted. If you were 5 centimeters... Right, I'm not answering that question. But thank you very much, Billy, for the super chat. I appreciate the super chat, but the answer would be... I don't know. I'd stay where I was. Shout out to Aditya Bose. Thank you very much to Aditya Bose for the super chat, who says, David, new companion. That would be hilarious. Imagine. I mean, they already made a joke about David's face cropping up a load, but who knows? Who knows? But yeah, spin-off. The spin-off teaser was really good. I am going to be doing a trailer shot-for-shot breakdown tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, it was a cool trailer. I liked it. Shout out to Thomas Blount as well for a super chat, who says, and Billie Piper, no. Oh no, are you not a fan, Thomas, of the Piper, Billie Piper 16th Doctor era? I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? It is a mad plot twist that I don't think anyone... I don't think, like, obviously there were a couple of talks and leaks and rumours and stuff, but I don't think anyone actually expected it to happen. Like, it's genuinely insane. Like, I'm still sort of at a loss for words that this really happened. But yeah, let's try keeping up the chat. Shout out to Tom for a £2 super chat, who says, David, Catherine and Billy back. Where's Martha? Yeah, bring back Freema Agyeman. Tom's got a point. Where is she? She should work in unit. Shout out to Lee Fogolis for the super chat. Thank you very much. Trying to keep up. I'm trying not to miss anyone. Scrolling down to here. Thank you to Sean Gray for a super chat. Sean Gray donated £10. Thank you very much, Sean. Sean says, I was utterly bored in the first half, but thoroughly enjoyed the second half. Yeah, it's a very Marmite sort of segmented episode. There's a lot that's really good. There's a lot that's really bad. There's a lot that... Do you know what I mean? It seems to flip. It's such a crazy episode. Like, it's not an episode... Yeah, as I say, my review has more thoughts, and that's coming out in probably like 20 minutes or so, because it's got to do the ad checks. But... yeah, I'm going to start wrapping up this live stream now. Thank you to everybody who's here. I am going to finish reading super chats. If you want to get in a last super chat now, now's your opportunity. In 30 seconds time, I'm going to cut off super chats. But yeah, get your final questions in. Thank you very much. Shadow Jedi Knight, thank you very much for the super chat, who says, but I'm happy for Billie Piper as the Doctor, but the only problem I have with the episode is Omega. I will give this episode a 7 out of 10. I think that's a fair rating. It was a lot of fun, and there were a lot of really nice scenes, really good dialogue, so I don't think it's fair to just slate the episode, but yeah, that's fair. I hope Billie Piper does well in the role. I'm sure she will. She's a great actress. As I say, I saw her in a play called Yerma, and she was very good in that. Rob Deltoni, thank you very much for a super chat. Rob Deltoni says, regarding fan reactions, Doctor Who showrunners probably adopt this Rick Nelson quote. You can't please everyone, so you gotta please yourself. Yeah, I mean, I feel like at this point, Russell... I talked about it in a video the other day, but he's almost forgotten a casual audience are watching and just gone, oh, cool, Omega the Rani. But to be fair, Omega in this episode was understandable for a casual audience. It wasn't too fan servicey. Shout out to Logan O'Hara again. Thank you very much, Logan, for another super chat, who says, I agree with your video yesterday. The gods are gone way too easily. Easily won Catch Maestro. The Beatles passing by Sutek on a leash. Lux showed him the sun baby. All of these, yeah. It is, they need to do more with the gods. They need to set more rules. They need to establish more. It's cool. It's nice. I like the ideas of the gods, but they need to do more with it. 100% Logan. Thank you for the super chat. Mini Zod has sent in a super chat. Thank you very much, Mini Zod, who says, if the Bi Generation made a child, Billy could end up with 14 for a couple of episodes while Shooty takes a break, and 14 could become 15 again that way. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do see more of Shooty. I think maybe not, but we'll see how the future goes. I think there's definitely the doors open. The fact that Billie Piper hasn't been specifically credited as the Doctor is insane. Like, I'm really intrigued on that. I want to know where that's going. Shout out to Wes Woodcock. Thank you very much, Wes, for the super chat, who says, felt so sorry for Ruby with them not believing her. Has she not been through enough? Give the poor girl a break. Love the channel. Thank you very much, Wes. I'm glad you love the channel. And yeah, I did think at the end they were a little bit mean to Ruby, and she didn't get a proper goodbye to the Doctor. That was definitely missing, but I suppose it was similar to Yaz last year. Well, not last year, whenever that happened, 2022, where they don't give a proper cohesive ending to the companion, but I suppose it was reshot, so who knows. Shout out to Mr. Cheesy. Thank you very much to Mr. Cheesy, who says, do you think Billie Piper is going to be like the 14th? So she only stays for like a couple of episodes, or is she long-term? Belinda return? God stay? I have no idea, and quite frankly, I don't think Russell knows. I don't think anybody knows. I think we're going to have to just wait and see until the BBC or Disney, or BBC and Disney, recommission more, and then we shall see from that point what's happening. Shout out to Grant Frazier for the super chat. Thank you very much, Grant Frazier, who says, Mrs. Flood's ending. To Rani's good night from me. That was genius. That made me crack up more than anything else in the episode when she said, and that's a good night from me as well. Absolutely loved it. Russell, that was great. Genius stuff. Genius stuff. Dustin Denton, thank you very much, Dustin Denton, for the super chat. He says, summer movie where they do a real Omega fight. I want to see real Omega. This was just the contorted idea of him in this episode. It wasn't him. I want to see him back properly. Ian Hughes, thank you very much to Ian Hughes for the super chat, who says, did you get the hot dog and cheese? I ate well. I ate well. Thank you to everybody who donated in the last stream for hot dogs, cheese. I had popcorn. I had a mix for the popcorn, salt and sweet. It was good. It was nice. Thank you very much, everyone. I didn't get the hot dog though. That'll be my next cinema trip. So shout out to whoever got the hot dog in the last stream. Thank you very much, guys. Right, Master coming in with a super chat. Thank you very much, Master, who says, I love Modern Who. I just wish we had something new instead of bringing old characters back like this. Feels like they are not trying to get new fans. 100%. Like it's what I was saying in my video the other day. If they're bringing back these characters, they've got to make them really relevant to a new audience. So yeah, shout out to Lil Buddhist First or Fist, Lil Buddhist Fist. Thank you very much for the super chat, Lil Buddhist Fist. Logan O'Hara says, thank you for your YouTube channel. I spend many hours watching. Thank you very much, Logan. I'm glad you enjoy. I think that's all super chats caught up with. There's a couple just come through. Thank you very much, everybody who's sending super chats, but can I ask you to not send any more for now? Thank you very much. I will be doing a live stream tomorrow, so if you've got more questions, stay tuned for that. But I'll finish these super chats, then I am going to end the live stream and you'll be able to watch my review go up live. Thank you very much, everyone. Little Buddhist Fist says, episode was shite. Oh, that's a shame. I'm sad you didn't enjoy it. I didn't hate it. I liked it more than Empire of Death. You'll find out more in my review, but fair enough. We're all entitled to an opinion. A non-emailer, thank you very much to a non-emailer for the super chat, who says, it was a bit short-sighted of you yesterday to scoff at the idea of Billy turning up, wasn't it? I loved that episode. Genuinely loved surprises. I know. When it happened, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, all the rumours were true. It seemed too mad to be real, but it in fact happened. It happened. Thank you to Rocky O for a super chat who says they needed 2 episodes for this episode. Yeah, I think this should have been a 3-parter. Like, there was just so many ideas, so much going on. And our final super chat here, thank you to Iota Kappa for the £5 super chat who says, I predicted right. The Doctor turned into cheese at the end. Call me a prophet. That was true. My favourite scene was when the Doctor turned into cheese. But yeah, thank you very much to Iota Kappa for the super chat. We do actually have one last super chat here from Shadow Jedi Knight. Thank you very much. Please, no more super chats because I don't want to miss any, and I'm going to end the live stream in a second. But thank you very much to everybody who's joined this live stream, everyone who's commented, everyone who's super chatted. Shadow Jedi Knight has said here, I'm going to say I like the design of Omega in this episode better than he changed into an animal, but once again, I do love the regeneration music of 15. You're 100% right, Shadow Jedi Knight. The music of 15's regeneration was elite, top tier, cool stuff, lovely stuff. Omega's design as well, you'll hear my thoughts in the review, but yeah, it's certainly going to cause a controversy. I'm intrigued to see the internet's more general reaction. I'm going to watch Unleashed. I'm going to post my review now. Thank you everybody who has watched this live stream. Shout out to all of you there. I really appreciate it. Even just this season as well, you've all kept this channel going. You've allowed me to do this as my source of income for the past couple of months, and it's been a blast. And hopefully we'll continue. We're not stopping. The channel's not going anywhere. Don't go anywhere. But thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for all the super chats. Really appreciate all of you. Check out my review. It'll be dropping within the next 20 minutes. See ya.